أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all in today's live session on Ayatul Kursi, inshallah. We will be covering the Ayat 255 of Surah Baqarah, which is commonly known as Ayatul Kursi. Inshallah, we will do the recitation of this surah and we will look at all tajweed rules of this ayah. And in the other sessions, we are covering Surah Al-Baqarah. And in this session, I will just go over Ayatul Kursi, inshallah. If you have any questions, you can ask me anytime during the session. So I will take 1 minute and then inshallah I'm starting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So let's start from here. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Let's go over it again. الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. There are two ways of reading it. If you say Allahu La ilaha illahu, then you have to start with Al Hayyul Qayyum. And if you don't want between this, so you will read Huwal Hayyul Qayyum. Allahu, the letter Lam in the word Allah will be heavy because there is a fatha before it. Allahu La ilaha illa لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الله الله لا إله. So here this alif you will stretch up to 2.5 counts. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. Or you can read الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في This is له ما في السماوات ما في الأرض. ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي من ذا الذي يشفع عنده من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. So here we have to pause the Hamza. So whenever you give it a pause sign or the sukun, you give it a sudden pause. Sha, like this. Illa bima sha. Wasi'a kursiyuhu samawati wal ard. Wala ya'uduhu hifdhuhuma wa huwa al-aliyyul azim. وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. And second way of reading this part is الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Allah, before the letter lam in the word Allah you have fatha, so you will make this lam heavy. Allahu, Allahu, la ilaha illa, la ilaha illa. So here if you see before alif you have fatha, so this alif is madda here, and after madda letter if you see the hamza here, this alif is acting as a hamza because it's having kasra in the next word. So here the mad is madde munfasil, so you will stretch it up to 2.5 alif. Allahu la ilaha illa, la ilaha illa. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. If you are pausing here on the word who, then you have to read the next word al-hayyul qayyum. But if you are not pausing, if you are reading in continuation, you have to read huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Now in the word huwa al-hayyul qayyum, the word ha, the letter ha is from the middle of the throat, and qayyum, qaraf is heavy because it's from the musta'aliya letters, and in the word qayyum this waw is madda, and we are making meme silent by ourselves, so we will apply the rule of madde arid lisakun, and the amount of stretching is 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif, but the best practice is to stretch it up to 3 alif. This is more mustahab. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه لا تأخذه لا تأخذه. Alif is madda, so there is a stretch. تأخذه. Whenever you see the sukoon sign on top of alif or hamza, you give it a sudden pause. تأخذه تأخذه. Ha is having vertical dama, so you stretch it up to one alif. لا تأخذه سنة سنة ولا نوم سنة. So what's the rule here? This is idgham. Let me explain what is idgham. The word idgham means to merge the sound. So here whenever you see after the tanween, which is your two fatha, two kasra, two dama, or after noon sakin, any yarmalun letters, okay, so waw is from the yarmalun letters, you will merge as well as you will do nasalization, meaning gunna. So you will say sinatun wala sinatun wala sinatun wala naum sinatun wala naum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm. Lahu ma in the word lahu we stretch the ha with the inverted dhamma, okay, because the vertical harkat are our long vowels. We read them by stretching them up to one alif. Lahu ma fis. Now this is the connected with the next word. Lahu ma Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm. Lahu ma fis samawati Mim is stretched, waw is stretched because of the vertical harakat. Fis samawati wama fil ard wama fil ard Hamza ra fatha ar. Before ra sakin, if you see fatha, you make it heavy. Ar. And dod is from the musta'aliya letters, so it will be heavy as well. Fis samawati wama fil ard ma dhalladhi. This is ma dhalladhi. Here is the rule of ikhfa. Ikhfa means to hide the sound of noon sakin or tanween under certain condition. So is it visible now? Okay, so what is ikhfa? Ikhfa means to hide the sound of noon sakin or tanween. So if you see after noon sakin or tanween, there is letter ikhfa letters. So this dal is from the ikhfa letters. You will hide the sound. You don't say man. You have to say ma dhalladhi While doing ikhfa, you have to be careful that your tongue shouldn't be touching anywhere in your mouth, because the moment you will touch it to the upper palate, you will end up doing ghunna. Difference between ghunna, which is your nasalization, and ikhfa. Ikhfa is hiding. وما في الأرض ما ذا الذي ذا الذي ما ذا الذي يشفع ذا الذي يشفع. So zal is from the tip of the tongue when it touches the inner edges of your top two front teeth, and this zal again we will read by suppressing the sound or by stopping the airflow. So you have to say ذا الذي ذا الذي ما ذا الذي يشفع يشفع عنده. In the word yashfa'u, ayn is from the middle of the throat. Indahu, noon is having ikhfa again, hiding, because there is letter dal after noon sakin. Dal is from the ikhfa letters. So remember, dal is from the ikhfa letters, dal is from the ikhfa letters. So in here, in this case and this case, we will hide the sound. Ma dhalladhi, ma dhalladhi يشفع يشفع عنده عنده إلا بإذنه إلا بإذنه ما ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. So let's see what are the rules here. In the word عنده إلا, you have to stretch this ha sound up to 2.5 alif, because here we have madde munfasil, because after the madda letter, or you can say the vertical harkat also act as a madda letters, because the amount of stretching is the same. If you don't put the inverted dhamma here, you have to put vaw sakin, so it's the same thing. And after that you see this hamza in the next word, so here will be madde munfasil. The amount of stretching is 2.5 alif. عنده إلا بإذنه بإذنه. Okay. عنده إلا بإذنه. So here we are stopping at the word بإذنه. So we will remove the harka from the letter ha. And the moment we do so, ha is having sukoon here now. Okay, because it's silent. When the ha is silent, we give it as we read it like this, nih bi-idhnih. Okay, so ha sound itself should be there without any haraka. indahu illa bi-idhnih ma dhalladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi-idhnih ya'lamu ma bayna يعلم ما بين أيديهم يعلم ما بين أيديهم. In the word يعلم, ayn is from the middle of the throat, ma alif is madda letter, so we stretch it. بين, ya is lean, so quickly we'll read it. بين بين أيديهم, again here ya is lean. And in the word di, this ya is madda, we will read it by stretching. يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم خلفهم. Kha is from the musta'aliya letters, heavy letters, so you read it heavy. خلفهم ولا يحيطون يحيطون ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه ولا يحيطون. Ha is from the middle of the throat. And in the word tuna, ta is heavy. وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ. Now in the word بِشَيْءٍ, you see after tanween the letter mim. So here we will do idgham. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. So here, whenever you see the sukoon sign on top of hamza, you give it a sudden pause. So here we are making hamza sakina because we have to stop here. Okay. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. So let's see the rules from here. يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم. Kha is heavy. ولا alif is madda, so we read it by stretching. ولا يحيطون يحيطون. Ha ya kasra. Here ya is madda. Okay. Tuna. Ta is heavy. بشيء من علمه بشيء من علمه شيء. So here بشيء, after two kasra you have mim, so you will do idgham with a wunna. بشيء من علمه. Ayn is from the middle of the throat, and after this you see hamza. So here this mad will be 2.5 alif. That much you have to stretch it, because this is mad munfasil. علمه إلا علمه إلا بما شاء. And this mad is mad munfasil because after mad later you see hamza in the same word. This is one word. So the amount is same like mad munfasil, 2.5 alifs. Okay. Illa bima sha. So you give it a sudden pause because we are making hamza sakin here. Wasi'a. Ayn is from the middle of the throat. Kursiyuhus. This ra is heavy in the word kursiyu, because before ra sakin you have dama. So if you see this situation, you make ra heavy. Kursiyuhus. See you. You have to emphasize on ya in order to pronounce it twice. If you say see you, then it will not be pronounced twice. So whenever you see the shadda sign on top of the letters, you emphasize, you read by stressing upon them. Okay. Kursiyuhus. Kursiyuhus samawati. Samawati. Mim is having vertical fatha, waw is having vertical fatha. So we will read by stretching here. Okay, up to one alif, not much. Kursiyuhus samawati. Kursiyuhus samawati wal ard. Ard. Before ra sakin there is a fatha. This makes this ra heavy. And dawad is from the musta'aliya or the heavy letters. That's why it's heavy itself. And here we have to pause. So what we did, we removed this fatha and we have given the sukoon to dawad. So dawad is sakin here now. Wal ard. Ra sakin, dwa sakin. You have to read both letters sakin with each other. Wal ard. Kursiyuhus samawati. Kursiyuhus samawati wal ard. Wala ya'uduhu. 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 Hifdhuhuma. Hifdhuhuma. Ya'u. Now here this waw is having no function, but it's just carrying the hamza. Okay, so hamza, sorry, this waw is connected with the hamza. Here hamza not having anything. Sorry, I thought this is there. La ya'uduhu. So hamza waw dama u. Here we are reading hamza with the waw, and waw itself is madda here, because before waw sakin you have dama. Wala ya'uduhu. Duhu. Ha is having inverted dama, so you read it by stretching up to one alif. Hifdhuhuma. Hifdhuhuma. Dha is having dama, and dha is heavy as well. So hifdhuhuma. Never read it hifzuhuma, because the moment you say z, this sound, buzzing sound in the letter the, you will make it za. Okay, this is not the za, the other one. This is hifdhuhuma. You have to touch your tip of your tongue with the inner edges of your top two front teeth in order to pronounce this. Okay, this is hifdhuhuma. حفظهما. The is from the Lithuania letters, so you have to avoid reading it as za. حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. علي. Ain is from the middle of the throat, and علي العظيم. Again you have ain, and you have the from the tip of your tongue, as well as it's heavy. Then you have ya sakin. So before ya sakin, you see there is a kasra with the previous letter. So this is madda here. And then after that, you have to end your recitation. Ayah is completing. You give this meme a sakun. We remove this sign on the top. If you do so, this ya will be madde arid lissakun. You have to apply this rule of madde arid lissakun here, and the amount of stretching is 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif, but the best is to read it up to 3 alif. So you have to say وهو العلي العظيم عظيم عظيم. So best is to read by stretching it up to 3 alif. وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. One more recitation, and then inshallah we will do the spellings. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. الله لام is heavy. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه give it a sudden pause. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. في السماوات وما في الأرض. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه وما في الأرض. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم. يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض. وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم علي العظيم وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم Hamza lam fatha al. We call alif Hamza when it's having any fatha kasra dhamma or sign on top of it. So this looks like alif, but it's acting as a Hamza here. Its rules are changed now and rules are placed with Hamza. So that's why this is Hamza. Hamza lam. Which lam we are reading? This one or this one? So this lam is silent here. We are excluding it. This lam we are reading Hamza lam fatha al lam vertical fatha la. Allah, Allahu, hadama hu, Allahu. So you see there is a fatha before the letter lam in the word Allah, so you make it heavy. If there is a dhamma, you do the same thing, you make it heavy. But if there is a kasra, like in the word Bismillah, you make it light. So this rule is specifically for the word Allah. Other than that, if you see lam anywhere in recitation, you always read the lam light. Okay, so I'm repeating again, in the word Allah, if you see there is a fatha before the letter lam, you make the lam heavy. You say Allahu. Or if you see dhamma, you do the same thing. But if there is a kasra, you make it light. So here lam is heavy. Allahu, Allahu, La ilaha illa, La ilaha illa. Okay, in the word La, what is the rule here? Whenever you see there is alif, I'm not speaking about Hamza now, I'm speaking about alif, the original one, not having any sign like fatha kasra dhamma. So if you see before alif there is a fatha, before alif there is a fatha. In this situation, this alif is not ordinary alif, this alif is madda. What is madda letter? What are the madda letters? Madda letters, the word mad means to stretch. Madda letters are such letters which are our long vowels. We read them by stretching them up to one alif, same like vertical harakat. Okay, so here alif is madda because there is a fatha before it. Remember this pattern. Okay, if there is any other sign, then alif is not madda. But if there is a fatha before alif, alif is madda. In this case, we read alif up by stretching it up to one alif. La. Okay, but here after alif as a madda, you see the hamza in the next word. Next word is ilaha. This is another word. La is one word, ilaha another word. So if you see after madda letter, there is hamza in the next word, or next word is starting with hamza. Now again I'm telling you here, this is look like alif, but this is acting as hamza here because there is a kasra under it. Okay, it can be original hamza, it can be alif acting as a hamza. So if you see after madda letter there is a hamza in the next word, then this alif, instead of we are stretching it up to one alif, we have to stretch it up to 2.5 alif. This rule here is called madde munfasil, the detached mad, the detached stretching. Okay, so you will stretch up to 2.5 alif. Allahu, La ilaha, ilaha. Now lam is having vertical fatha, so you read it stretching by stretching up to one alif, the time you take to say alif one time. Allahu, la ilaha illa, illa. Allahu, lam, alif, madda and fatha. La, hamza kasra I, lam vertical fatha la, ilaha fataha, ilaha. Allahu, la ilaha illa, hamza lam kasra il, lam alif fatha la, illa. Again this alif is madda here, that's why we are giving it a bit stretch. Illa, illa. We are not saying illa, we have to say illa. Allahu, la ilaha illa. Allahu, la ilaha illa. Lam is heavy. This is 2.5 alif stretching. This is 1 alif stretching. This is 1 alif stretching. Allahu, la ilaha illa. Allahu, la ilaha illa. Huwal hayyul qayyum. So there are two ways of reading it, as I have mentioned previously. You can say hu and then al hayyul qayyum. But if you're reading in continuation, because this jim giving you a permission, a 50-50 chance that you can pause or you can carry on. Both situations are right here, which will not change the meaning. So if you are reading in continuation without pausing between these two words, then you have to say huwal hayyul qayyum. You have to join this waw with the fatha with this lam in the word hayyu. So you have to say huwal hayyul, huwal hayyul. But if you're pausing here, then you have to say illahu al hayyul qayyum. Then you have to read this lam with alif if you're pausing. If you're not pausing, you have to say huwal hayyul qayyum. If you're pausing, you have to say huwa al hayyul qayyum. Okay, both situations are correct, but mostly we are reading here without pausing, so we say huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahu, la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Huwal, ha damahu, waw lam fata wal, huwal, ha ya fata hay, ya lam dama yul, hayyul, qaf ya fata qay, ya waw dama yu, qayyu, and mim sakin, qayyum. Allahu, la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahu, la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahu, la ilaha illa hu al hayyul qayyum. Next is la, lam alifatha la. Again there is a same pattern, that alif is not having any sign on top of it, and before that you see there is a fatha. This alif is madda here, so we read it by stretching it up to one alif. La ta'khuduhu, ta'khuduhu, ta hamza fatha ta, ta. So whenever you see the sukoon sign on top of alif or hamza, because alif is also called hamza when it's having any sign on top of it, so here this alif is acting as a hamza. If you see alif having this sign or hamza, original hamza is having this sign, in both cases you have to give it a sudden pause. Ta, ta, ta'khuduhu. Okay, la ta'khuduhu, ta'khuduhu. Kha is from the musta'aliya letters. These letters are such letters which we have to read full mouth or heavy under any condition. So here kha is heavy. Ta'khuduhu, khuduhu. Dal is from the tip of the tongue when it touches the inner edges of your top to front teeth. And ha is having inverted dhamma, so you read it by stretching a little bit. La ta'khuduhu, la ta'khuduhu. Allahu, لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. So here I forgot to mention that waw is madda because before waw sakin you have letter ya. So ya is having dama here. So whenever you see that before waw sakin you have dama, this waw is madda. Same alif was madda because there is a fatha before it. Waw sakin is madda because there is a dama before it. So waw is your madda letter here. And meme you are making pause. So here you will apply the arid lisakun, temporary stretching in order to pause. Because we're pausing here, so we will stretch it up to 3 alif, which is the best practice. You can do 1, you can do 2.5, but the 3 is the best one. So you have to say Al Hayyul Qayyum. Allahu La ilaha illa huwa al Hayyul Qayyum. لا تأخذه لا تأخذه سنة ولا سنة ولا نوم سنة ولا نوم. Let's see the rules here. Sin kasra si, nun fatana sina, ta waw to dama tung sina tung, waw fatawa lam alifatala wala, noon waw fatha now, and meme sakin naum sina tung. So here after this tanween of the dama, after 2 damas, you see there is a letter waw. Waw is from the Yarmalun letters. What are the Yarmalun letters? If you write the word Yarmalun in Arabic, it's Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, and Noon. And this word itself is an abbreviation. So if you want to know what are the Yarmalun letters, you have to see the word Yarmalun. And all these spellings are basically the letters which are including in that. So Waw is from the Yarmalun letters. After Noon, Sakin or Tanween, if you see letter Waw, you will do the idgham, meaning merging as well as ghunna. Merging and ghunna. Idgham means to merge. So you have to say sinatun wala, sinatun wala, sinatun tun tun wala. So this when I say tunwa, so basically I'm doing idgham, yani meaning merging plus ghunna. Sinatun wala, sinatun wala naum. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا واو فتوى لام ألف لا ولا Noon, waw fatha now. This waw is lean here, so we have to read it quick. Naum, naum. Okay, so if you see before waw sakin there is a fatha. This makes this waw lean. Lean means to read gentle and without stretching. But here you can also apply the rule of madde lean arid. Okay, madde lean arid is also giving you a permission to stretch it up to 3 alif, same like madde arid. But it's good that you make it short, and if you see madde arid you stretch it up to 3 alif. Okay, so lean arid best is to shorten, and for madde arid is best to elongate. So let's see it again. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما. Again we said the vertical harkat we read like madda letters by stretching up to 1 alif. له ما mim alifata ma. Now this fa is connected with the next scene in the word samawat. So this fis samawati, fis. Fa was having here, if you see kasra, so fa, sin kasra, fis, sin fatha sa, fissa, mim vertical fatha ma, fissama, waw vertical fatha wa, fissamawati, fissamawati, waw fatha wa, mim alif fatha ma, wa ma, fa, lam kasra fil, hamza, ra fatha ar, and duad is sakin. Because we are pausing here, so we are making the last letter silent. Fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Fis samawati wa ma fil ard. Ma dhalladhi. Now here is mim, noon, fatha, ma dhalladhi. So after noon sakin, you see this is letter dal, which is from the ikhfa letter, so you will hide the noon sound. Don't try to complete it by saying min. You will end up doing gunna. Ikhfa is to hide. Okay, so it's ma dhalladhi, ma dhalladhi. Dhal, lam fatha zal, lam fatha la, dhalla, dhal, ya kasra dhi. Ma dhalladhi, ma dhalladhi. So here, before ya sakin, you have kasra. This ya is madda. Stretch it up to one alif. Ma dhalladhi. And don't forget to say dhal from the tip of your tongue by touching it with the inner edges of your top two front teeth. Ma dhalladhi yashfa'u, yashfa'u. Ya, sheen fatha yash, fa fatha fa. Yashfa, ain dama'u. Yashfa'u, yashfa'u. Indahu, indahu. Ain, nun kasra, dal fatha da, ind. After nun sakin you have dal. Dal is again from the ikhfa letters, so you will hide the nun sound. Indahu, hu. Now here you have to stretch up to 2.5 alif, okay, because there is a hamza in the next word. So if there are madda letters or vertical harakat, the ruling for the madde muttasil and munfasil will be same. So if I write ha alif fatha, or I just ha waw dama, or I just give it inverted dama, is the same thing. So you have to stretch 2.5 alif. Indahu illa, indahu illa bi'idhnih. Hamza lam kasra illam alif fatha la, illa ba kasra bi, hamza dhal kasra idh, bi'idh, noon kasra ni, and ha we are making silent because we are pausing here. This pa means to pause. So we are pausing, we are removing the harka. We have to say bi'idhnih, nih, ha sound should be there. Ma dhalladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnih. Ma dhalladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnih. Ya'lamu. Ain is from the middle of the throat, so it's ya'lamu. Ma bayna, ma bayna. Ya'lamu. Ya, ain fatha ya, lam fatha la. Ya'la, mim damamu. Ya'lamu, mim alif fatha ma. And before alif again there is a fatha, so this alif is madda. We read madda letters by stretching them up to one alif. Ya'lamu ma bayna, ba, ya fatha bay. This ya is lean here, so we have to read it quick. We have to read it gentle without stretching or without suddenly pausing it. Bayna, bayna, aydihim, aydihim. Hamza ya fatha ay. This ya is again lean here. Dal ya kasra di. Before ya sakin you have kasra, so this ya is madda. Aydi, ha mim kasra him, aydihim. Bayna aydihim. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim. Waw fatha wa, fatha ma, wa ma. Kha lam fatha khal, fa fatha kha, khalfa, khalfa, kha lam fatha khal, fa fatha fa, khalfa. Ha mim dama hum, khalfahum. Wa ma khalfahum, wa ma khalfahum. Kha is from the upper throat, also it's heavy, So you have to say خلفهم وما خلفهم. Waw fatha wa, lam alif fatha la, wala. Alif again, here is a madda because there is a fatha before it. Yuhituna, yuhituna. Ya dama yu, ha, ya kasra, hi, yuhi. Ta, waw dama tu. Ta is heavy, it's from the musta'aliya letters. Waw is sakin. Okay, before waw sakin you have dama. So here waw is madda. We will read it by stretching it up to one alif. Yuhituna, yuhituna. Ya madda, waw madda. So two madda letters are there in this one word. So in both places you have to give it a slight stretch. Yuhituna, wala yuhituna. Bishay'im, bishay'im. Ba kasra bi, sheen ya fatha shay. Bishay. Hamza to kasra, mim, im. Now after the tanween of kasra you see there is letter mim, and as I have explained before there will be idgham. Idgham means merging, and again here will be ghunna as well. So if you see after to fatha to kasra to dhamma or noon sakin, yarmalun letters, ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon, yarmalun letters, any of these, either ya, ra, la, mim, waw and noon. So except lam and ra, you will merge as well as you will do nasalization. So here we will be merging with ghunna. Okay, so here will be idgham ma'al ghunna, and there is a idgham without ghunna. So here is with ghunna, so you have to say bishay'im min, bishay'im min, min. This holding of the meme sound and taking the sound into the nose is called nasalization or ghunna. Okay, and your tongue is touching the upper palate. But when we are doing ikhfa, our tongue is not touching anywhere. Just remember the difference between ikhfa and ghunna. Ikhfa is your hiding, like ma dhalladhi yashfa'u indahu, and ghunna is when you have to do nasalization. Bishay'im min ilmihi, bishay'im, hamza, mim, to kasra, im. Bishay'im, mim, nun kasra, min. Bishay'im min, ayn, lam kasra, il, mim kasra, mi, ilmi. Ha is having vertical kasra. So I said if there is a madda letter or vertical kasras or fatha or damas is the same thing. So we read vertical harkat by stretching up to one alif and madda letter as well. So here after this you see the hamza in the next word. So here will be madde munfasil. The amount of stretching is 2.5 alif. Ilmihi illa, ilmihi illa bima sha, ilmihi illa. Ain lam kasra il, mim kasra mi, ilmi, ha vertical kasra hi. Ilmihi illa. Hamza lam kasra il, lam alif fatha la, illa. So here we said hamza because it's alif but acting as a hamza, and illa, hamza lam kasra il, lam alif fatha la, and before this alif you see there is a fatha, so this alif is madda. Ilmihi illa. Ba kasra bi, mim alif fatha ma, bima. Sheen alif fatha sha. So before alif you have fatha, this alif is madda, and after that you have hamza. Hamza comes in the same word. So what will be the rule here? Here will be madde muttasil. Okay, illa bima sha, and you will give it a sudden pause because we are pausing here. Wasi'a, waw fatha wa, sin kasra si, wasi'a in fatha a, wasi'a. Kaf ra dama kur, sin ya kasra si, kursi ya dama yu, kursi yu. Ha sin dama hus, sin fatha sa, hussa. Mim vertical fatha ma, waw vertical fatha wa, ma sama wa. Ta kasra ti, kursi yuhu samawati. Lam fatha wal, hamza ra fatha ar, dwad sakin, wal ard. Waw fatha wa, lam alif fatha la, wala. Ya fatha ya, hamza waw dama u, ya'u, dal dama du, ya'udu. Ha is having in vertical dama, so inverted dama, so you have to stretch. Ya'uduhu. Ha fa kasra hif, dha dama dhu, hifdhu. هادمه ميم ألف فتحة ما حفظهما 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 ولا يؤوده حفظهما ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم واو فتى وا هادمه وهو واو لام فتى وهو عين لام عين فتى ع لام يا كسرة لام يا كسرة لي علي يا لام دمى يل علي يل عين فتى ع ذا يا كسرة ذي and ميم ساكن عظيم ولا يعوده حفظهما. The is heavy and as well as from the tip of the tongue. وهو العلي عين from the middle of the throat. علي لي عظيم. So second last letter is your mother letter. You can apply here the rule of madde arid lissakun and you can stretch up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif. And best is to stretch up to 3 alif. عظيم. Like this. وما في الأرض ما ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ما ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض في السماوات وما في الأرض في السماوات وما في الأرض ما ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه ما ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من إلا علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Now, so we will recite it inshallah more, but before that I would like to ask you questions if you want to answer. So my first question is about the word Allahu. Allahu. And in the word Allah, if you see, there is a fatha before the letter lam, okay, in the word Allah. So will you make it heavy or light? I'm repeating my question. If you see there is a fatha before the letter lam in the word Allah, will you make this lam heavy or will you read it light? Can anyone answer this question? I've explained the rules of letter lam in the word Allah specifically. Okay, I'm reading it. If you can take a guess. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. So in the word Allah, will we make this lam heavy or light? Okay, let me answer. This lam will be heavy if there is a fatha before the letter lam in the word Allah. Okay, so it will be Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. And here on this waw, we have option to stretch up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alifs. So you will stretch up to 3 alif, which is the best to do so. And there are two ways of reading this part. You can say huwal hayyul qayyum, or you can read it hu al hayyul qayyum. Okay, so if you're pausing, you will read this alif with the lam. If you're not pausing, if you're reading in continuation, then you have to say huwal waw lam fatha wal huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. And second way of reading is Allahu la ilaha illa hu al hayyul qayyum. Okay, if you're pausing it, you have to read this alif with the lam. If you're not pausing, you have to read waw with the lam. Wal huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. So here the stretching is 2.5, here is also 2.5. من علمه إلا بما شاء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Let's do the last final recitation, and after that I want you to let me know if you want any other surah to be I should be doing the live session on any other surah like Surah Baqarah, Surah Rahman or any. So your suggestions are most welcome, and it will help me also to know that what mostly people are wanting to learn when it comes to tajweed of the Quran. And I'm conducting the sessions on the short surahs. So I have covered up to till Kafirun. My next session will be on Surah Kawthar, inshallah. And side by side, I'm doing Surah Al Baqarah also. Today I have done 71 to 80 surahs, 71 to 80 ayah number. And these are available on my channel under the live playlist. So you can check them out if you want to. And if you want me to do any specific surah, you can comment below, and next time I can keep it in consideration, inshallah. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm lahu ma fis samawati وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. صدق الله العظيم. So here inshallah we will be ending our today's live session on Ayatul Kursi. So we have tried to cover all the Tajweed rules. If you want, you can play back to learn all the rules which we have covered so far, along with the recitation if you want to hear the recitation. So let's end our session by sending the salawat on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let's read it together. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أجرني من النار. ربي اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم آنس وحشتي في قبري. اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرني منه ما نسيت وعلمني منه ما جهل وارزقني تلاوته آناء الليل وآناء النهار واجعله لي حجة يا رب العالمين آمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. So inshallah I will see you soon with another live session. So keep watching, keep learning. Inshallah, may Allah increase us in knowledge and may Allah accept our struggles inshallah of learning Quran. May Allah accept and may Allah help us to reach Jannah by learning the Quran in its true way, inshallah. Inshallah, I will see you soon. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.